Hello and welcome to Big Games unboxing video of the new Shadows over Innistrad Booster Box. My name is Simon. I'm going to do the unboxing today. So, what I'm going to do, open this up and we'll start taking a look at what we get inside some boosters. Exciting stuff. So, I'll just put this out there to start with. I am no expert when it comes to Magic at all, so a lot of this I'm not really I'm not going to spend too much time focusing on cards in particular. I'm sure if you're watching this you're just more interested in the the rares and exciting bits anyway, so I'm mostly going to skip through a lot of these. Just quickly go over though, this is the Transform card. Now they seem to be appearing in slightly different places in the packs. So pre-release this is where they appeared. Have opened some boosters where the Transform appears at the back, so this is a bit of a strange one for it to appear here, but we'll see as we go along. So we've got that, Not Forgotten, Obsessive Skinner, Ravenous Bloodseeker, Invocation of Saint Traft as the rare. That's pretty cool. So this is effectively turn a dude into Geist of Saint Traft from the original Innistrad. It's 3 mana enchants a creature, and when they attack you get to put 4/4 Angel into play, token into play, tapped and attacking, and then it disappears at the end of combat. So it's just turn someone into Geist of Saint Traft, basically. Still, it's very cool, don't get me wrong, but I wonder if we're going to see that actually put into constructed play in Standard. Don't know if it's a bit slow for doing it, but then it does put a 4/4 Angel into play. So Kessig Forge Master for our Transform. Here's Machinations, that's quite a cool one. And Dissensions in the Racks is interesting. Oh, we have a first Mythic, Mind Rack Demon. 4 mana, 4/5 Demon, flying and trample, because, you know, fairness. When it enters the battlefield though, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard, and that should help you with the next bit for Delirium. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 4 life unless there are 4 or more cards among cards in your graveyard. So, even though it only costs 4 to play, you don't want to be putting them out too early, lest you start suffering some damage, or you've already set up your Delirium quite quickly. You can set up in theory, Autumn Gloom, you can in theory set up, Hamwire Militia Captain, Delirium very early on with just 2 cards, but the chances of that actually happening are very slim, unfortunately. So we have our first Transform rare, which is Hamwire Militia Captain, 2 mana for 2/2, and if you control 4 more creatures it flips. It turns into the Westvale Cult Leader, whose power and toughness is now equal to the number of creatures you control. And at the beginning of your end step, you get to put a 1/1 white black human cleric token on the battlefield, so it makes itself stronger and gives you more bodies. That's a really neat captain. I wonder if white weenies is going to start becoming a thing. Oh no, another Mythic, Seasons Past. So 6 mana, sorcery. Return any number of cards with different converted mana costs from your graveyard to your hand, and then put this on the bottom of your library, so it doesn't go to the graveyard itself either, surprisingly. I think it's quite a cool card. I can't see it seeing play in Standard Constructed, and again in Limited I don't think it's going to see much, but that's it just strongly screams out Commander, doesn't it? Convicted Killer for the Transform there. Skeleton King, Welcome to the Fold is the rare. So it's a 4 mana sorcery. Gain control of target creature if its toughness is 2 or less, or the madness is X double blue. And if the madness was paid, instead gain control of the creature if its toughness is X or less. So by utilising the madness version, you have a broader range of creatures you can take control of. I seem to remember seeing this being played to good effect during the pre-release weekend to steal the big bodies. Dead Weight. That's a reprint from the original Innistrad. Enchanted creature gets -2/2. It's just a good, effectively removal spell, especially if something's indestructible, etc. Hinterland Logger for the Transform. And we hit a Jace. Oh, we have a Manic Scribe foil as well, so foil's cool to have, but we care more about the Jace, don't we? So we have the new Jace, the Unraveler of Secrets. So this time he's wearing a cool leather jacket. So he starts at 5 loyalty, +1 is Scry and Draw, in that order, which is important. -2 returns target creature card to its owner's hand. And -8, get an emblem with whenever an opponent casts their first spell each turn, counter it. Now right now Jace isn't being hyped too much, but I seriously think he'll see a lot of play in Standard. Yeah, he's a 5 mana drop, but the +1 to draw, scry and draw every turn, is just so useful. And again, when the other Jace rotates out, Mr. Vryn's Prodigy, I can just see him being played quite a lot. Oh, a slightly dented card. Interesting. Daring Sleuth. He's one who creates lots of investigate. Lots of clue tokens from Investigate. You have an Angel of Deliverance for the rest. 8 mana, 6/6 flying. So quite a high cost here. But it's got Delirium. Whenever it deals damage, if Delirium is active, exile target creature and opponent controls. So that's quite a nice one. And of course you've got to set the Delirium first, but then it's 8 mana, so you've had most of the game to do that already. So yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult. Tormenting Voice, I do like that one. Convicted Killer for the transform. Murderer's Axe, nice. And we have a Corrupted Graphstone. So it's a 2 mana artifact, it enters tapped, and you can tap, choose a colour of a card in the graveyard and add a mana to add 1 mana of that colour. It's quite a nice little little mana stone. So obviously you need something to hit the graveyard first, but I think I can see that being played a lot in sort of like the more casual formats and stuff. Again, I'm not an expert on Standard, so I don't know if we'll see it being played there really. Hermit of the Nathanols, I like him just because he turns into the big lone wolf of the Nathanols. I just think he's quite cool. And it gives you a bit of draw as well, which green tends to suffer with lack of draw. Inexorable Blob, this one's got lots of flavour. 3 mana, 3/3, and then if you have Delirium, when it attacks, you get another 3/3 green ooze token, tapped and attacking. I like this because it's just the idea of just this non-stop tide of blob just slowly oozing over and just devouring you. I really like the Inexorable Blob. I wonder if I can make a deck based around him. Macabre Waltz as well, that's quite nice. It's got the really cool artwork of Liliana dancing with this corpse here. There's a really nice Ultra Pro playmat of that, so I may have to pick that one up for myself. Grishspoon, Dance with Devils. So we have the Nephalian Moondrake. Oh, and a Foil Forest. 4 basics, always pretty. So Nephalian Moondrake, so you see this in one of the intro packs. It's 7 mana, 5/5 Drake, flying. When it enters, target creature gains flying, and then you can pay 6 whilst it's in the graveyard to exile it to give creatures you control flying. It's not a terrible card, it's just quite expensive for what it's doing, unfortunately. So again, another one I don't expect to see much play outside of the casual format. Someone really wants a flying army. Breakneck Rider, sounds quite cool. I can see, I'm not sure how much of a tribal theme we're going to see until Eldritch Moon really appears, because there's not, I don't think there's quite enough support to make them, you know, amazing tribal decks. But I'd imagine Breakneck Rider and Neckbreaker would see play in those, because he's a really cool werewolf and he's a human. And then attacking creatures you control get +1 and trample is a really useful ability to have. So I'd imagine him being played. War Mysteries, the Bygone Bishop. Ooh, an Obsessive Skinner foil. Nice. So the Bygone Bishop, it's a 3 mana, 2/3 Spirit Cleric. Flying, and whenever you cast a creature spell with converted mana cost 3 or less, investigate. So Bygone Bishop is just screaming to be put into, like, I don't know, a human weenie deck maybe. Something with low mana curve on there, which is fitting of, you know, human weenies. And then the Investigate giving you clue tokens. You want something that's just focusing on having, you know, an army. Ooh, and we got the rare. So we got Town Gossipmonger, who transforms into the Incited Rabble. I really like that transform. It's a nice It's quite a lot of flavour there. The gossip monger turning into an incited rabble. And again, that would fit quite well in a human tribal deck. We have Westfell Abbey. So this is the rare transform land. So it adds a waste to your mana pool. Pay 5, tap it, and pay a life to get a 1/1 white and black human cleric token. Or pay 5 and tap, sacrifice 5 creatures and transform it. And you get, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, Ormondal Profane Prince. He's a legendary creature demon. He's a 9/7 flying lifelink, indestructible, and haste. All the good words. The haste is probably a little bit redundant, but I suppose it's the added bonus if you already had your 5 creatures in play when you put it down. I really like this guy. The artwork's really cool as well. If you look closer, you can just about see. There's the 5 clerics there. And then, boom, Mr. Demon appears. So, pour over the pages. I think this is going to see play as well. Draw 3 cards, untap 2 lands, and discard a card. So it's 5 mana, but it's effectively 3 because you get 2 lands back. So, Woodland Stream. Sorry, I got really excited because I thought this was the other dual colour land. Sorry, just another one of the cycle lands. With Brain in a Jar as our rare. So 2 mana artifact, pay 1 tap, put a charge counter on it. Then cast an instant or sorcery with its converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Brain in a Jar from your hand without paying the cost. Pay 3, tap and remove X counters from Brain in a Jar and scry X. So that effectively stops it from, because you have to pay 1 tap and add a charge counter, you can't just stay at the same cost, but then rather than making the card completely useless, later on you can just start removing the counters as you need to. So, an interesting one, Brain in a Jar. Looks a lot like Gleemax in the artwork as well. If anyone remembers Gleemax. Cursed Witch, that one's got a nice bit of flavour as well. So it's a nice witch, spells targeting cost 1 less, and then when she dies, which she's only at 4/2, so your opponent probably wants to kill her, Infectious Curse, and then enchants the player. Spells targeting them cost 1 less, and each turn they lose a life and you gain a life. So that's another really cool card. And again, if you have any decks that sort of use and abuse her, please let me know. And oh wow, we have another Jace. There's 2 Jaces so far, and I'm barely even into the box. Am I going to have burned through all my mythic luck right at the start? Hopefully not, but we will find out. So we have a Neglected Heirloom for our transforming card. Topplegeist, this one will see some play, I reckon. So Flying Spirit, enters the battlefield, tap target creature and opponent controls, and then if at Delirium at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, tap target creature. So it's just going to keep tapping things down. You're probably never going to attack with it, but you can use it in like a white semi-control build just to keep them tapped down. And then our rare is the Forgotten Creation. So going with some of the more horror aspects of Innistrad here. It's a 4 mana 3/3 zombie horror with Skulk. It can't be blocked except by creatures with greater power, so something 4 or more power. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you can discard all the cards in your hand to draw that many, so it lets you completely cycle your hand. That's a nice thing to be able to do. It's usually in red you see that much, but being able to cycle through your hand means hopefully you can start hitting some of the cards. Oh, Mr. Camera. Means you can start hitting some of the cards that you're really after. Sunray Hunter for transform. Woodland Stream that I got very excited about. Falconwrath Gorger. So he's a 1 mana Vampire Berserker, 2/1 creature. And each vampire creature card you own that isn't on the battlefield has madness equal to its mana cost. So just letting you get vampires into play that much faster. And it seems to be in this set, compared to the original Innistrad, that there's a lot more, the vampires seem to be focusing a bit more on the red side. So, Uninvited Geist for the transform. And then we have another Inexorable Blob for our rare. See, I'm already partway to being able to build a deck of these things. It'd be cool to build like a modern oozy casual deck oozes and blobs and stuff. That'd be fun. I say it'll be fun. It would be fun. Graph Mole, Malevolent Whispers, Anguished Unmaking. The flavour on this card is fantastic. So read up on the story if you haven't to understand why this is such a poignant card. And it's 3 mana to exile target non-land permanent, lose 3 life. But read the story, check out why that's such a beautiful card. Also, attend your local game day if you want the alternate art version, where you see this exact scene from Avacyn's point of view. It's something you don't get very often, or if ever, I don't think, in Magic, where you've seen something from a different viewpoint. Ooh, Archangel Avacyn as our transform rare. So, well, she's a mythic. 5 mana 4/4, flash, flying, vigilance, all the fun stuff. When she enters, creatures you control are indestructible to the end of turn. And then if a non-angel dies, flip her. And she turns into a 6/5 flyer with, when this creature transforms into it, deal 3 damage to each other creature and each opponent. She's gone mad. And that was quite nice that we pulled Avacyn the Purifier and the Anguished Unmaking there. So sad, so sad. And Prized Amalgam is our rare. So it's a 3/3 for 3 mana zombie. And whenever a creature enters the battlefield, if it entered from the grave or you cast it from your grave, return this from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped at the beginning of the next end step. So there's a little bit of memory there. And again, you don't get it straight away, you're getting it at the end of turn, but that's still quite nice. Drop it onto the field, it gets killed off, as zombies want to do, or you sacrifice it or something, and then you get it back. Another Hinterland Logger, sorry. Confirmed Suspicions for the rare. So it's 5 mana, instant, counter target spell, and investigate 3 times. So it says you put 3 clue tokens into play, which are the 2 mana, sack them, draw a card. It's not bad, it's just 5's a lot for a counter spell, even if you do get all those clue stones as well. Barrent Researcher. So, if anyone remembers Delver of Secrets, surprise, this is the continuation of that story. So he continues on in his research, trying to find that perfect insectile form. So he's got exactly the same stats. He's a human insect flying 3/2. However, this one, you put the top card of your library into the graveyard, and if it is an instant or sorcery, so you don't get it into hand, you just it goes to grave. It turns into the perfected form, flying 5/4 insect horror. He's lost all of his humanity now. He's become the perfect insect form. I really like that just from a flavour perspective. I think it's very cool. And we have a Asylum Visitor. So it's a 2 mana 3/1 vampire wizard. And at the beginning of each player's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand, you draw a card and you lose a life. It's not too bad, a little bit of extra draw is cool. And then it's got its madness for the same cost, but it does mean that if it was discarded in some way, you are still getting it back. I was surprised when they brought madness back for this set, but then I'm incredibly happy that they did, because it's such a fun mechanic. And there's lots of good flavour behind it, so. Pious Evangel. For our transform card, Broken Concentration, counter target spell for 3 mana, or Madness for 4. That's an interesting one. Oh, and a new Scarecrow for all of you Scarecrow Commander players. Odric Lunarch Marshal. Oh, we've got a foil Silverfur Partisan. That's nice. We'll come back to him actually. So Odric this time is a 4 mana 3/3 human soldier still. At the beginning of each combat, creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn if a creature you control has first strike, and then the same is true for flying, death touch, double strike, haste, hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, menace, reach, skulk, trample, and vigilance. Yes, he's amazing. And then Silverfur Partisan is a 3 mana 2/2 wolf warrior with trample, and whenever a wolf or warrior you control becomes a target of an instant or sorcery, you get a 2/2 green wolf creature token. That is just amazing. if you dig back into an old Innistrad Wolf deck, you know, that just slots in perfectly. And I can see it being a key part of any sort of like tribal deck you might want to build for wolves in future. Put in a load of pump spells and fantastic. Kindly Stranger turns into a demon-possessed witch. I think that was just cool. Veteran Cathar. We have a Fevered Visions for our rare. So this one's a 3-mana enchantment. At the beginning of each player's end step, that player draws a card. If that player is your opponent and has 4 or more cards in hand, it deals 2 damage to them. So the more they have, the more they are to get damaged. So Sleep Paralysis, Structural Distortion, it's cool. Village Messenger turns into Moonrise Intruder. And Menace is quite prevalent in this set. And we have an Eerie Interlude as our rare. So it's a 3-mana instant. Exile any number of target creatures you control and return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So this is a 3-mana version of an old card called Ghostway, which flickered everything in and out effectively. So it's quite useful. I mean, it works well with allies from the Zendikar set because of all their enter the battlefield effects. Plus it can be used to help save some of your creatures, save an Avacyn is transforming and blasting your weenie army apart. Avacinian Missionaries, who turn into the Lunarch Inquisitors. The Groundskeeper, Lightning Axe, and we have a Declaration in Stone. So this is to do with the Sorin Nahiri storyline. It's 2-mana sorcery, exile target creature and all other creatures its controller controls with the same name as that. And then that player investigates for each non-token creature exiled this way. So they get something back for having their board graphed for such a small price. But this is very good at just wiping out like token armies, or potentially if Eldritch Moon supports tribal even more, then it would be very good at wiping out sort of those types of lists. Another Bygone Bishop. But we did get a foil Plains. Let me know in the comments as well if you do play Magic a lot. Have to let me know if you intend to use the proxy cards a lot or not, because most people do have sleeves that you can't see through, but some people decide to use the proxy cards, some people don't, so I'm just curious to see what they do. Prized Amalgam, a Spirit Token. Angelic Purge, 3-mana sorcery is additional cost to cast, sack a permanent, but you get to exile something. I stopped on this one because I really like this because the sacrifice permanent isn't too big a cost, and white's got an almost direct way to now permanently exile something rather than temporary exile, so it's an interesting one. Solitary Hunter there, and we have a Triskaidekaphobia. I think I got that right. I want to follow Chaplain's Blessing. So if anyone's ever watched my videos before, you know I'm terrible at pronunciation. So it's a 4-mana black enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose 1. Each player with exactly 13 life loses the game, then each player gains a life, or each player with exactly 13 life loses the game, then each player loses 1 life. So cool. And as was pointed out, there are lots of 13 things in the image. So 13 drops of blood, 13 pieces of cutlery, 13 broken bits of glass, 13 logs is quite cool. Although not everything's 13 because there's only one person, for example. That's to you, Alex. So, moving on swiftly though. Merciless Resolve, another bit of the story. I must read more into this. Rise on the Tides, Better Bridge, Inner Struggle, another Odric. So I reckon Human Weenies are going to become a deck again. If Eldritch Moon supports them enough, I think it will become a big thing again. Jace's Scrutiny, Structural Distortion again, Skin Invasion, that one's creepy. Enchant the creature, it attacks each turn if you're able, and when it dies, return this to the battlefield transformed as Skin Shedder. So it's a 3/4 insect horror. I really like that card. I think it's very cool. Always Watching. Oh, and we have Elms of the Vein in foil there. So put that to one side. So Always Watching is a 3-mana enchantment for white, and non-token creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Vigilance. Nice and simple. Supports having a nice, decent army. Sort of like a new Honor the Pure, but even better because it's not just the white creatures. Although unfortunately it doesn't affect tokens. So yeah, Lamholt Pacifist. And we have a Foreboding Ruins. Oh, and a Lamholt Pacifist, another one, but this time in foil. It's cool. I like that they foiled both sides as well, because they could have easily gotten away with only foiling one side, but they did both. Thank you, Wizards. So this is one of the new types of dual colour lands. When it enters the battlefield, you have to reveal, in this instance, a Swamp or Mountain card from your hand. If you don't enter, it's tapped, and then it taps for black or red. They're really good. I'm really pleased with those because it means you can get them down early, but late game you might have already played out all your lands, so you're less likely to be able to get them to enter tap. So it just means you get access to multiple colours earlier in the game. Neglected Heirloom. Oh, an Elusive Tormentor rare transform. So 4 mana 4/4. It's a vampire wizard. You can pay 1 and discard a card to transform it. Nice access to madness there. Insidious Mist. So it's a 0/1 elemental. Hexproof, indestructible, can't block, can't be blocked, and whenever it attacks and isn't blocked, I can pay 3 to transform it. That's quite cool. I like that card. That's really playing with the flavour of the world they're in. Thalia's Lieutenant. So 2 mana 1/1 human soldier. When it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on each other human you control. And whenever another human enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Thalia's Lieutenant itself. More proof that they want you to play a human tribal deck because, yeah, how Thalia's Lieutenant just all over. Heir of Falkenrath. Open the armory is quite cool. Search your library for an aura or equipment card. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Shuffle your library. So that's just good access to some equipment and stuff. Another Thalia's Lieutenant. Unfortunate for me. Okay, so let's find the next rare. Shard of Broken Glass has just got cool artwork. 3-wing Gargoyle. We had to have the Gargoyle in the set. You couldn't not have a Gargoyle. Cryptolith Rite. So Cryptolith Rite, 2 mana enchantment. Creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. I believe someone has already come up with some disgusting way to abuse this right. If you know of it, please let me know in the comments. So, getting very close towards the end here. Another one of the multicoloured lands, Game Trail. I don't know what the nickname for them is yet, so if you know, please do tell me so I can name them correctly. So this is our getting towards the end. Rattle Chains. So this was in the I can't remember the name of it, one of the intro packs. 2 mana 2/1 spirit, flash and flying, and when it enters, target spirit gains hexproof, and spirit spells you control have flash. So you can almost make like a spirit tribal deck. Add to a spirit tribal deck. There's already a spirit lord. So this is the penultimate pack. I think we did get all the mythics right at the start, I think, so still hold out some hope you might get one in, say, one of the transform slots. Now you had Harvest Hand in the transform slot, which is another artifact creature that turns into a scrounged scythe. Again, just the flavour on these cards is amazing. Such good little bits of story on them. That's a good way to trigger Delirium as well, because it's an artifact and creature. So we have a Altered Ego for our penultimate rare. X2 green and blue for a shapeshifter who's a 0/0 to start with. It can't be countered, and it enters the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it enters with X additional 1/1 counters on it. So, as you can see in the artwork, a much bigger, much tougher version of the creature. So this is it, the final pack from the box. So, let's see what we get. Yep, I'm doing the teasing thing one at a time. So, Gitrog Monster. Oh, we got a nice foil to top it off as well. Deathcap Cultivator. That's nice. That's a good way to end this. So you got another mythic and a rare. So quickly, Deathcap Cultivator, 2 mana, 2/1 human druid. Tap, add black or green to your mana pool. Nice simple druid mana dork. And the Gitrog Monster, 5 mana, 6/6 for a legendary frog horror. He has Death Touch, and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice the Gitrog unless you sack a land, but you can play an additional land on each of your turns. And whenever one or more lands are put into your graveyard from anywhere, draw a card. So he has a downside, which is actually a positive, and you get to mitigate it by being able to play additional lands. So yeah, he's really, really good. And as I'm sure you're already aware, if you know anything of the set, he's pegged to be quite a played commander, I imagine. So there we go. That was everything from my Shadows over Innistrad box. So let's take a look. So we got 6 mythics in total, 2 Jaces, which is quite nice in my opinion to pull that. Avacyn in one of our transform slots. Gitrog for commander. Seasons Pass and a Mind Wreck Demon. I'm not unhappy at all with that. It might have been nice to have pulled in the Nahiri or Sorin instead of double Jace, but then 2 Jaces, you know? Who doesn't love Jace? Apart from me. And then rares. We got a nice spread. I think I would have liked to have pulled a few more lands, because lands are just very useful to have. So, let's see there. I think we did actually pull quite a lot of white here. So look at that. Huge amount of white rares, and then the rest is spread out amongst the other colours. I think red's the least represented. I think actually red, I got 1 red, quite a lot of multicoloured, a lot of white, quite a bit of blue, a little bit of green, bit of black, and then the lands there. And then funny enough, I got lands which focused on red. But yeah, so that's all my rares, and then a good spread of foils as well, because who doesn't like pretty foils? So there we go. That is everything in the Shadows over Innistrad Booster Box. As a set overall, it is rich in very clever applications of its theme, and so much good story involved in a lot of the cards. It's even like the commons and uncommons, there's just steeped with flavour. I love that about sets, so very happy about the set from that aspect. In terms of gameplay, like I said, I'm no expert on it. I think it's good setup, ready for the next one for Eldritch Moon. So, and we'll just see how it unfolds over time as it gets played out. So, remember, everything you've seen here today, all the individual cards can be bought and sold on our website, bigorbitcards.co.uk. So, head over there if you're after anything. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. I'll be unboxing the other products from Shadows over Innistrad, so if you're curious at all, go take a look at those. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.